That theme song gets me every time.
Oh yeah. Dan
Welcome,
Harmer's
welcome,
such a
welcome.
genius.
Welcome back to Superman and Lois Retrospectives. Superman, oh, and my kid is entering the room. What's up? What?
Uh,
So listen to teachers.
You need Did it? It started everything
I didn't-
over.
It just played it again. That's
It's
all
not-
it did.
It started it over again. I think. I mean,
I
hey, that
just
worked.
pressed resume.
you guys got me posing repeatedly for nothing.
Welcome to Superman and Lois Retrospectives season 2. I am currently doing my daughter's homework for some reason.
It's so funny.
Do the rest later.
Season.
Okay, we'll do it. Go.
Professional recording right here.
Welcome to season 2, everybody.
Did you fart? Go get out. Jesus.
Are you farting?
No. Close my door. Close my door. I think she farted first.
Season 2. Where
This
the
is
family
getting clipped out. All of it is getting clipped.
the family drama is at an all-time high.
Oh man. But welcome. Season 2. We started season 2. We're supposed to do this
I don't know
before the
why you guys
holidays.
I don't know why you guys are still watching. It's not gonna get better than that.
We were supposed to do this 3 weeks ago, but we were all too lazy, and then it was the holidays. So we
Holidays,
just
yeah.
decided to watch the first 3 episodes and do it all at one time because this show is still goated. Tyler Hoechlin is still the best Superman of all time.
Vincey Tolik is still the best Lois. I will hear no debates.
And these are still the best Superman kids.
I mean, in fairness, what other ones have there been?
That's true. That's true.
Young Justice.
Hmm.
Freaking whatever that animated movie was with the Super Sons.
Oh yeah, true.
Wasn't it called Super Sons?
Probably.
But no, we picked this season up. Pick up from where we left off. John's dealing with getting that adjusted to this new world. Lois is being so standoffish and just apprehensive against getting to know her. And Clark is just being Clark, rolling with the punches. And
Yeah. He's trying to be a good husband.
yeah. I know a lot some of us in this chat have experience with trying to be a good husband. Darren, would you like to chime in on that?
Oh yeah, no, for sure. So yeah, when I left my husband and kids 17 years ago, and I haven't looked back, that was the greatest decision of my life, and I couldn't.
Jesus Christ!
He walked out the door to kindergarten and never looked back.
No. What did you want me to say there?
I really thought he was going to throw that at me, not you.
Not that you abandoned your family, Jesus.
This isn't the Flash, guys. We don't preach abandoning your families.
Exactly, like Clark
Lord.
Clark doesn't do that. Clark doesn't do that at all. No,
Yeah, we
But,
don't do
these-
that here.
these first 3 episodes are filled with teenage drama because Sarah is being very distant from Jordan, and he doesn't understand why. This is when I found Jordan the most annoying because I'm like, bro, like I get this is your first girlfriend, but you being thirsty. Like
He's insecure.
You're being
Yeah.
very insecure and thirsty. Like she came and told you I kissed a girl and I liked it, but it was only at camp. It was at camp. It doesn't mean anything. That was the dumbest excuse I've ever heard for cheating on somebody. It was at camp. It didn't mean anything.
And there have been
What?
some dumb ones.
Yeah, it was just at camp. It didn't mean anything. What?
That was my biggest problem with that thing because I actually really like this plot line for Sarah. I think for the most part, like I know a lot of people harp on her. It's like she's a cheater, but like I think she handles this better than 99% of cheating stories that I've seen, right? There's so much like,
Yeah.
oh, we had to keep it a secret for months on end. They find out. It's like, no, she came back. She was a little distant for about a day, and then she was able to be brave enough and come clean about it. Something Kyle was not brave enough to do. Something her
Yeah.
father couldn't do, and I appreciate that a lot. I think she handled it very responsibly. With that being said, my only issue with it is that she does undermine Jordan's feelings about it. I'm not a huge
Yeah.
fan of her being like, well, no, you should feel this way about it. Like it's no big deal. It's like, well, we shouldn't be undermining
Yeah.
his feelings on it.
And then that, but also the way that Kyle approaches the whole thing, where like Sarah isn't sure if Jordan's going to forgive her and whatnot. I like Lana's approach to it, where she's like trying to talk her through it.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest, I didn't like this line where he was like, if he doesn't forgive you, he doesn't deserve you, or something like that. And that was just completely wrong coming from Kyle.
But to be fair, like that is him justifying his own actions, looking back at it like retroactively. Like it's him being like, no, cheating is fine. Don't you even worry about it. Don't you even like, you are the princess that you are. And I think that's him. And like you see a bit of that throughout this, and we'll probably talk about this later, but there are bits of it like, you are overcompensating a little bit, Kyle. Why are you doing that? And we're slowly seeing. We see what is it next week's episode? It's like, that is why.
Yeah.
Didn't
That's why
Lana
you're
cheat
doing
too, though? Like, I mean, well, didn't she advocate for cheating? Like, I think this is around the time she kind of did. She was like, basically like Jordan's an idiot for letting you go or something. I think this was everyone's problem with the Cushings this season, and it stemmed from them wanting to try to add in the LGBTQ esque storyline, but not handling it properly.
It was
Because to
fairly
have
fair,
her,
though.
that's but
I mean,
that, but I'm saying like that everybody had. I'm saying like it stemmed from that, and then the way that they handled the Cushings around that situation. I'm like, you're telling kids, oh, you're just kids. It's not a serious relationship. You're basically trying to coddle Sarah for a mistake because at the same time, like honestly, when my kids start dating, if
Good
they
luck.
decide to cheat on their significant other or whatever,
yeah.
I'm not gonna sit there and be like, oh man, it's that guy's no. I'm
No,
gonna tell
need
you
to
you're
tell
wrong.
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
'Cause
tell
that's
like
that's
that's
just-
wrong. Like it's weird to sit there and just be like, oh, it's okay. He's dumb. He's
Yeah.
dumb for not understanding.
If you do that,
Excuse me?
if you do that, that just enables them to do it again.
Mhm.
Exactly.
And you know what, to defend her a little bit, let me throw a little flame in the fire. Again, I think Sarah handles this better than most people would, right? She didn't actively keep it a secret from him. It was a like, I need time to process how I want to handle this. And once she does tell him very quickly. But like I also want to say, like,
Apparently, the
you're-
baby was out there choking the cat.
what?
Okay.
With that being said, I also think there's something to be said that, like, when you're a teenager, feelings are complicated, and especially when it comes to queer feelings, how you don't know who you are or what those means. And I think it's very easy to have a moment of like, oh shit, what happened? How did that happen? And again, it's not her being like, oh, I want to see this, I want to, continuing cheating on this person with him. It's like, oh, this shit happened. I need to tell you about it. How do we move forward? Again,
But I will say, I still found it hilarious how Jordan is
he's acting very
Jordan's
weird about it.
just
Yeah.
what? Do you want to be with her now?
Yeah.
He's
He's
bro,
not
like-
the little goose. Yeah.
Like
it's
it was a kiss, bro. Like when y'all kiss, y'all faces don't even move. You just
Like-
press your lips up together so passionately, like dog.
Yeah.
like it's and I'm not saying bad as in writing, but at that time of being a teen, it's a bad mixture of clingy and insecure. So
Yeah.
when those two things mix, it's never good. But that happens a lot at that age. So people want to say,
Sure.
"Oh, that's." And I'm not justifying it. I'm just saying it's a thing that happens. People want to say, "Oh, that's bad writing." I'm like, you're telling me you've never met a teen like that?
It's very the like Clark and Jordan conversations, as cringy as it may be, are very real conversations teenagers have all the time of just like,
Yeah,
I will be with them and I do love them and I will be with them forever and I
yeah,
need to tell them this secret. And I do think it's very
yeah,
fascinating to kind of tell this story of like, in any other storyline, being honest with your significant other would be the correct response. And so like he wants to be
yeah,
open and honest. And this is like the one scenario where a father would be like, yes, please lie to your significant other. That's the best thing for your relationship and this family.
yeah, and
It's yeah.
yeah, and I mean, I know we're jumping ahead a little bit here too, but
Fine.
I do love the scenes that Clark has with first the boys and then with just Jordan. After Lois comes home and busts Jonathan when that whole thing's going down.
He's
Um,
about to
you know,
tear it up, boy.
yeah,
He's
Clark
about to
has
go
that
to work.
conversation. He has that conversation where he's like, "Hey, I get wanting to be intimate with somebody, but the most important thing is that you respect whoever you're with." So
Mm-hmm.
that was one of the most important parts. But also after his, outburst where he kind of loses it on Jordan, which we'll talk about those later on. But I love the aftermath of that, where like Jordan is like he's still sure about his feelings, but he's not outwardly yelling them like they were before. He's calm and
Yeah.
collected as he's talking about it. And Clark says, "Hey, you're still young right now, but if in like a year you feel the same way, we can have
Yeah.
a different talk." And I really like that moment.
That's such good responsible parenting to not just be like, "Are you fucking moron? What the hell are you talking about?"
Yeah,
But yeah, like it sets a realistic goal for someone to reach and something that I think they can understand. It's not saying like, "No, you fucking mook. Like, what are you doing?" It's being like, "Okay, I see you. I see your feelings. I see where you're coming from." And I think it's such a good story about like respecting the past but embracing the future, because there's so many things they've done with the show with which I know you don't like it, but like when you kind of watch Smallville and that show and like the storylines that they were telling on that show, it does kind of work as the spiritual successor of that, because
Yeah.
we saw this shit all the time on shows like Smallville, where it's like, I want to tell Lana who I am, but I can't, and that internal struggle, and that kind of stuff is kind of referenced here, where he's like, well, didn't you want to tell Lana this? And he's like, yeah, I did, but ultimately I didn't. But was that best for Lana, or was that the worst for Lana? And again, like we see that circle, especially like I think scenes like this hit very hard, like retroactively, because they don't get together. Clark was right about this, and even though she does eventually learn, they don't get together, and so it's smart to have
yeah,
that that responsibility of, maybe I should wait, maybe I shouldn't tell everyone
yeah,
I fall in love with after a month,
right.
kind of
And
stuff.
and now, granted, like her knowing did end up like she was still an integral part of his growth throughout the later
Yeah.
half of the show. And I think now having somebody there, not like as his partner to lean on, but let's be honest, kind of the one who keeps him in check. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
that was kind of nice. So
Yeah.
yeah, I give that there. I mean, the drama is not as bad as something like most of the Flash or the worst parts of Arrow. So I'll say
I
that.
I agree. I will say though, like I do think there is a very noticeable shift from season one to season two, which I do think they rebound from. But like I will say, even though I enjoy the season a lot, I'm not going to be here each week being like, well, fuck this season. It's still good TV in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But there is a shift. Like I am not
yeah,
as into it as I was for the 13 episodes we watched, 15 we watched last season. I'm
yeah,
like, okay, I'm having a little bit more issues with some of the characters and some of the dialogue, and it's like this is definitely the most CW the show ever gets. Like this is very in line with some of those early, maybe it's like more in, like not later CW, but like those early CW stuff where like Flash season 1 to early Arrow, which were very soap opery
yeah,
comparatively to the other seasons of Superman and Lois, I'd say.
yeah. Um, And like, if this is the most CW the show ever got, then I mean, that's like I'd say that's fine. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know about fine, but we've seen a lot worse.
I
Um,
will take this over a lot of TV we watch every year.
Yeah.
Especially
Yeah.
a lot. We used to watch every year. Like, good lord, like this is still on
Yeah.
Let's talk about
the upper
this
bit.
is the start of John's constant literal head trauma.
Yeah, I don't like John this.
John Kent or Henry
Oh,
Irons?
I'm talking
Wait.
about Henry Irons.
oh, I was talking like Kent. Sorry.
Oh, I thought.
This is the start of John Henry Irons like constant head trauma, and all of that, and having to deal with Nat um
Yeah. You still see him
and
get visions of his Lois.
yeah. And I can appreciate that, but I still gonna say I love that they handled that in season one, like right away, that he's not saying, I know you're not my wife. I'm not interested in you that way.
Yeah,
I
they
love
moved
that
on
they
quickly.
develop a
Yeah.
brother-sister type relationship. I always thought that
Yeah.
was really cool.
This episode, or I'm sorry,
Yeah.
like episode 3 has probably my favorite John Irons
Yeah.
steal scene
Best
of all
suit up,
time.
best
When he
suit up
calls the
scene.
thing and he runs up and he like forms some like Iron Man around his body. And oh my god, it was so fucking
it's so
cool.
great.
I
It's
hated
so
salt. I hated salty Nat when all he's trying to do is help his friends. Like I hate that
Get it,
for.
though.
I get it, but I hated it.
Yeah,
I hate when
mean,
kids are like that.
I
That's like when
kinda
Nora was
get it.
telling Barry to stop being the Flash.
And there was one of the lines dropped by, I almost said Taylor, that's the actress, Nat, where they, like, she's still adjusting to the world. Two that really stood out to me is like after she's talking to John out there by the van, and she's like, I wish I would have just died like I was supposed to. Like,
Mhm.
that really hit in a different way, because I mean, hell, none of us can like know what it's like to like physically pass from one world into another one and find
Yeah.
everything you knew completely different.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
don't really know what that's like, but also I love Lois's reflection on it later, and I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but she goes, like, my mom left us with the same, like, lack of emotion, blank stare, and it must have crushed her having me look at her that
Mhm.
way. And yeah, like that definitely was a nice payoff to some of the Lois drama, because for that entire time you're like, why is she acting like this? And they really get down to the meat of it with the what's kind of become a traditional wine porch session at this point. But
Yeah.
no, I liked how there was reflection there.
Yeah, it's been about a month since I watched that first episode because I watched it back when we were supposed to do it. But no, I like that we take an episode to deal with Lois's, for lack of a better word, trauma, because it's very interesting to be like, you were supposed to have this child, they didn't make it, but now you literally have to live in the same town as this child, but she doesn't know you, or you can't have that same connection with her. Like,
And you didn't get to watch her grow up.
Yeah.
it's so complicated and it's so interesting, and I do think the way they handled it was very sweet. The moment at the end of episode 1 where they do show up at the barn is like, hey, they're gonna stay with us. Is that okay with you? Are you okay with
Yeah.
this? That's such a sweet little moment, and I love this.
Yeah,
like,
between Clark and John, where he's like, "Are you sure about this?" He's like, "I'm helping a friend." Like,
I think it does a lot, actually, and I don't think I really picked up on it because I didn't like my first goal of the show. I didn't like Natalie at this point in the show because she was a little annoying at the time. That's the point.
Yeah,
She's supposed
yeah,
to be, but like
yeah.
I think this time around, I really appreciate her because she does a lot for the John and Jordan dynamic. I
Yeah.
think having a
and
third
even
person.
even though that Sarah dynamic too, a little bit.
Sarah, yes, that it's nice that Sarah actually has another character that she can be a friends with. That's not like a boy. That helps, but also it's
Yeah.
nice that John and Jordan have someone that they can talk about Superman stuff that that isn't another family member. Like they can
Yeah.
have this kind of back and forth 3-person conversation, and they hit off each other very well. I think both Jordan and Jonathan have different dynamics with her, which is very, I think, well done. I think I think by episode 3, she really just kind of fits into the cast very swimmingly. Like, I think a lot of times it takes a couple seasons for someone like that to really get in the groove of it. And she's kind of with them. Like, it's nice having this whole cast of these smaller characters, if you
Yeah.
will. And, we add, like, Mateo later on inside the show
Yeah.
too, which kind of adds to that. But yeah, no, I
Yeah.
really like Natalie.
And the dynamics and stuff's interesting because like she already has. Here we go. Like she already has her version of what Superman is like. So her adjusting to this, new version is, I mean, it definitely takes some acclimating. And like, there's those awkward bits where she's like, I'm not really a breakfast person. And in those moments, like, I'm sure we can all relate to, like, we go out of our way to do something really nice for somebody. And they're like, like they would say, oh, well, I'm, vegan, I'm vegetarian, I'm whatever. Like, insert things.
You're vegan?
No, I'm not. But then they just, like, it's
So
just
you like meat?
Knew that was coming. It's just awkward whenever you like go out of your way to do something really nice and then they don't respond the way that you hope they will, and it's a little tense.
And you know what I'll say, like as we're talking about this, it's kind of a shame that Clark and Natalie don't have more screen time because they're very similar. Like Clark as a child got their world got destroyed and they had to get sent to Earth. Natalie's world got destroyed and she had to be sent to Earth. Like they have a lot in common, closer than their boys
it's another
will ever
thing
have.
too. It's another thing too that they have in common. Clark's from a alien world. He thought that he would be shunned upon in society, and Nat's black, and they were shunned upon in society.
And that's not what I thought you were gonna say, Lance. I thought you were gonna go with a dirty joke.
What did you think I was gonna say? What?
I thought you were gonna say both call Lois mom.
Oh, that's also true. That's also true. I'm with you when you're right. Hey, you said it, not me. They do call him mom. Not me.
I mean, I'm pretty sure the first.
Me, Lance.
I'm pretty sure the first word of season 2 is mom. So I'm pretty sure that's the first word spoken.
Mom. That's not your mom.
Yeah, but no, like all the dynamics between them, I really like. There are 2 more things that are sticking out in my mind right now. First of which being, even though this is definitely a controversial character, it did generate, I think, one of the best moments of the overall series. That whole when they basically turned those super kids into an X-Men team with a whole school and everything.
Yeah.
Sam
boy
Lane.
Tag.
Yeah. You got
Power of Justice U.
Sam Lane's new replacement, who like everybody hated through the first watch of season 2. But he's trying to work with Superman, but he said like, hey, I don't understand this relationship that you had with Lane, but I'm trying to get on the same level with you, and it's obviously very different. But like one of my favorite exchanges is he's saying like this crest isn't yours to give, and then he's like, I need to know that like you're committed to America, and Clark goes, I can't give my allegiance to America. I gave it to the world a long time ago.
One of the best scenes of the whole show.
One of the best scenes that perfectly exemplifies what Superman is. And even still, like in this season, which we're starting to notice it less, but there are still scenes where he like goes to a random part of the world and still saves people there. Like he saves those people in Japan, like that whole that submarine scene. That whole scene that happens. Beautiful visuals in the rain, by the way. I loved that whole sequence. Like that was fantastic to look at. And
this season tries to keep that up, and then it definitely gets lost by like the back half of the season and to the final. Which understandable. Like you can tell, like there's a bunch of things this season you could tell. Oh, they had to cut the budget on a couple of things, which I'm not complaining about. You fall into the same thing with the steel suits. This is something Stargirl also had the same exact thing. They did the same thing with Stripe over on Stargirl, where it's like, oh darn, it's broken again. Let's spend the next 8 episodes fixing it. Which again, I understand, I get it. I'm not complaining about that. It's just funny to point out and be like, budget.
But then they kind of had not great ways of doing it in other shows, like the further and further they got into a show like The Flash,
just lose
They
his powers
got
again.
they got a smaller and smaller budget, so where whenever they would show speedsters running, they stopped showing them from the waist down, so you
Mhm.
wouldn't actually see like the full Speed Force in motion. Yeah, that stupid Bart run. Yeah, that was really bad. That Lance is doing up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
That
really
was funny though. Bart was so tired running away from the Godspeeds
that
after only
that,
2 seconds.
that was stupid. I'm sorry.
Said,
The
why is his head
other
bobbing like that?
but no, the other like the second thing I wanted to get to aside from the whole like Superman of America deal is well the thing that's breaking in out of those minds.
That was my next thing.
Yeah, looking like now that we're like we've seen how the show ends, it's really genius how far back they
Yup.
set some of that stuff up.
Yep.
And that second episode out of the 3 we've watched, just a small little side note, it actually shares an episode title with another Arrowverse episode. I think it's the penultimate episode of Arrow's 6th season. I think they share same title. But yeah,
I
you
think it's
see-
so funny. I think it's so funny. Todd came out of that interview and confirmed. He told people that
Yeah.
is Doomsday. That is, and like I was pissed. I would like when episode 3 rolled around. I was like, this fucking liar. This fucking liar. And maybe he
Yeah.
was at the time. I don't know how far in advance they planned that out. But it's so funny. That is not a lie. He
Nope.
he told interviewers
the suit's right there.
an entire season in advance of what the twist was going to be, and we didn't believe him. That's so fucking funny.
Yeah.
That is
Yep.
so cool. That's so. Again, I don't know how far in advance they planned it out, but like,
This
so
just goes
funny.
to show you that the whole concept of, making Doomsday out of another Kryptonian can be done well.
Yeah.
Can be. Isn't always, but it can.
I
be.
didn't notice how like in the suit, Bizarro was way taller than everybody else.
Yeah. But
I'm
then, like, whenever
why-
he
yeah.
stands outside of it, he's level with everyone.
I'm like,
Mhm.
does the thing have like lifts in the boots? Or
I might. But no, I love those moments too. Like whenever you hear him, or whenever you see those flashes of him, like breaking out of the rocks, and they are just at the worst time possible because they coincide with Clark getting frustrated with his kids, and
Yeah.
he gets angrier than he means to, but it does create some good drama as a result of that. And to Darren's point earlier, when they said, like, in the interview that this is Doomsday, I find it hilarious how there was a line in episode 3 where Lois is like, now's not the time to go all Doomsday on me.
Yep.
I was
They
like,
were
they
doing
said it
purpose.
right then and there, damn it.
And like
Uh.
at the time, I was pissed. I was like, "Oh, that's so fucking cringe." And then it went like when it wasn't it, I was like, "Okay, it's fine." And now I'm kind of back. I was like, "Okay, it's a little silly, but who cares?"
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think that was what their second twist villain reveal in the show, and we do a couple others as we go along. We
Yeah.
we do the big one again in season 3. But yeah, no, like they do it very well. It works very well for obviously like the comic book fans that are like Doomsday, but also works very well for casual audiences as well. Like I think the show does a good job
Yeah.
at that, where it's like you don't have to know who Doomsday is. To anyone else, it's just a
Right.
mystery of what this thing is. But if you know what they were doing
Yeah.
and why it works so well.
Because I don't think they ever called him Doomsday. I
They
don't
didn't.
think they ever did.
No,
I don't
They
think they
just
did.
They would just refer to it as that thing or that monster.
the bizarre,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, like, at the time when we were all still canon, I did that. Like, there was a bunch of moments within these first 3 episodes that still, I look back and me. being
Yeah,
like,
because
"Why
they
did do
reference
this?"
Doomsday in Crisis. So
That, and
I mean, they
also,
kinda-
Bizarro. We had like a Bizarro on Supergirl as well, and so at the time,
yeah,
I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, you probably should have. There was a couple times in these first 3 they probably should have texted Kara or something, or Barry. Like there's that line again when it was canon. Like there's that line from John where he's like, "Do you have anyone else right now?" I'm like, "Yes, call Kara. She
Yeah.
can go undercover for you." I was like, "All right, whatever." But, but I get it.
They
Which
had
was getting
General Lane did say, I have to let the the DOD know because there's a bizarro version of you running around.
Hmm. Speaking of which, while we're on like the Arrowverse of it all, if you don't mind, I think that's a good transition, and we'll talk about it more next week. But
Oh
we get
yeah.
reintroduced to Lucy in this season,
Oh yeah.
which again, I do truly think at this point in the season, right now, it was still canon. I think at this point when they were writing it, it was still canon, and the shift probably happened probably a couple weeks from now in terms of writing and producing these episodes. Actually, they probably wrote most of the season with the intent that it was canon. But it's so interesting for them to have brought back. They could have cast anyone as Lucy. They recasted so many characters. Even if it was canon, they could have brought in someone else. But no, they reached back out. They got the Lucy from Supergirl to
Yep.
reprise her role here. And at the
She
time,
was only in one season back when it was on CBS.
season 1, yeah,
Yeah.
like you didn't have to do that, but they did. And at the time, this was my victory lap. This was like, "Ha, you suckers! It is canon, you son of a bitches." And so it's so funny that like this is the season that kind of disproves that. Again, it's not an issue, but
Especially
yeah,
because season 1 leans so far into it. Yeah.
yeah. Oh well.
God, that's
Oh well.
in a couple months. That's gonna be like a whole rant.
We're gonna
Yeah.
we're gonna fully talk about it. And also just like we have the Allie storyline, which we are slowly introducing here, the Lucy storyline, and I'll just say I'm still not a fan of this plot line. I think especially on rewatch, now that I know everything that's going to happen, I'm kind of checked out. Like I'm invested in a lot of these storylines right now. This is the one where I'm like, I don't really care right
I
now.
think just seeing someone, and I don't know, maybe you can argue there's some bit of morbid realism to this, but
Hmm.
like, I don't know, Lucy is like, when it comes to the Allie character, Lucy is just a bull. She sees a red flag and she runs
Yeah.
at it. It's like,
Yep.
you're so blatantly ignoring all these signs that are being thrown in your face, left, right, and center. But that is where a big issue with the whole drama with this season comes from, is a lot of the Lucy stuff. It's like a lot of this could have been cut away. But
Yeah, and I think a cult storyline in Superman is a fascinating idea. I
yeah,
think on paper it works very well with a very similarly what I wanted them to do with season 4 of The Flash. A cult isn't something Superman can punch. He can't punch his way out of an issue. He has to use his other strengths, and Lois has to use her strengths to kind of fight through the manipulation and the brain altering and this bond that cults can bring out of you, and this loyalty. And I think it could have been a great story. And sometimes it is. I'm not saying it's all bad because again, it'll be interesting slowly getting to dive into the season more and if some of it works better or worse than I remember it being. But I do think as a whole, it is just so bland to me. I guess is like the biggest word. It's so I don't know. It didn't quite work for me that first time around. And again, I'm hoping I end the season and I'm like, guys, I was wrong. This is the best plotline in the whole show, and I was wrong this whole
you're
time.
never gonna say that.
But
Yeah, because I don't too much care for this storyline either. The bizarro part, yes, but
yeah,
Yeah,
I
the
think they
bizarre
should have.
part and like everything surrounding like all the other like pairs of family members and their storylines. Even though I have my issues with it, I was mostly digging like the whole the John Kent storyline for a good part of the season, even though I had some issues. But every time it did something related
Yeah.
to this, the drama with these three and the villain especially, was where I was kind of checking out.
Yeah,
I mean, there's that one scene from this episode I really liked between Sam and Lois, where she's
yeah,
going over like how like Lucy almost died, Lois saved her, and like Sam essentially just didn't really notice because he was a lot more committed to his duty back in the day. And I just I like some of those scenes, but whenever you get too many of them, it's like you're retreading tired ground over and over.
yeah.
yeah. And to like pin off that, I'm also not a huge fan of of the John storyline here either. There are good episodes with him this season. There are elements that really work, and we'll get into that later on in the season. But as a whole, it did very much feel like they really struggled this season and also next season, kind of what they wanted to do with him. With a family full of superheroes and reporters, where does John fit into the mix? And again, we'll talk about this later, but there are so many episodes this season where there's a huge fight going around, and Jonathan's just kind of like standing there while things are happening. It's like, oh man, like they really struggled.
Yeah, this season especially.
The drug storyline, which I like in theory. I think right now it's good. I like the idea that everyone around him, including his family, is stronger than him, and he is trying to compensate for that. Even his girlfriend, he feels that this like dynamic that's off between them. And he eventually will see him like, you know, him juicing to get to that point with everyone else. But like, I don't know. It ultimately doesn't fully land for me at the end of the day. But again, maybe I'll change my mind and like maybe it'll really work this time around.
You just talked about like him juicing to get on the same moment as or the same level as everybody else. I just remembered a really funny moment from one of these episodes where like they're out there and you know the football field, they're getting into a fight. Clark gets into it. John accidentally hits him, and he has to fake his fall. I loved that part so much because you can tell it didn't phase him in the slightest, but he has to sell it.
Yeah,
I love that part. Like, yeah, I love that part. It's just, and again, it's supposed to look fake, but they just sell it really
It's
well.
funny.
And Tyler was good there. One last thing I can think of that we didn't really touch on. The whole stuff surrounding Tal in the season so far.
Yeah. Oh, he was really good in episode 2.
I really like that stuff.
Yeah.
And the whole
Jordan really thought he could take him. Okay.
I mean, he did better than in season 1. I give him that.
Which makes sense because he's been stuck in the jail cell. He hasn't been using his powers. He's been under a red light. So
under the red light.
And he's been training too.
Yeah. But I love whenever the moment where like Tal, you know, betrays and then attacks Jordan, Clark just loses it instantly, and that is when you get, I think, some of the best acting out of Tyler Hoechlin in that scene where he's just wailing on Tal over and over and like screaming in his face, like saying you don't touch him. But then like whenever they're done with that whole scene, and I think also this is the first introduction to the AI of his mother too, which another great scene there. But after all of that's wrapped up, like you get Jordan and Jonathan like celebrating like they just won a video game or something with how happy they are. They're like, I just blasted a laser at my uncle. What? No way. It's like they're being kids about it, but it was fun.
I think Tal is like the one aspect of the show that I think I will forever be a little disappointed we didn't get a little bit more from, especially like looking at it retrospectively, where I think he got a decent ending, but like it's such, I don't know, he's such a strong character, especially in this episode, and like that moment when he's like yelling at his mom, like you don't know what it's like to put in this situation, and like what's that line where it's like, oh yes, of course you wouldn't remember me, the forgotten son. Oh, it's like, oh my god,
that
so
and then
good.
She's like, I left my machine in the hands of a monster, and he's like, you left me in the hands of a monster.
It's good.
Oh,
it's really, really good. I don't know. I wish, I really wish he could have come back during the Death of Superman arc. As much as I love Sam's sacrifice, and that really, really, really works for me, there's a part of me that kind of wishes it was Tal. Like I think that would have also worked very well. That full circle moment of like
what he says at the end of season 2, especially where he's like, you and your family are the only people on this planet that really matter to me.
Which is such insane growth from like this point, like episode 1 of the season to episode 13 or whatever.
Yeah, like
so
near
like
the end.
I don't know, man. It sucks that we didn't get at least something with him to just kind of, I don't know, see like, oh yeah, it's that guy at the end of the show. But I get budgets. They did not have the resources to get him back in here. I get it. I'm not
like
about it,
when they were doing season 4, they were like working off a Chipotle gift card, so they barely had anything.
100%. I hate to criticize anything about season 4 because I'm so grateful of what they gave us under their circumstances. Like, it's easy for me to be like, they should have done this, but it's like the fact they gave us what they gave us is insane. I don't know how they pulled it off.
And like the fact that they made an ending that was not only good but that good. It's pretty
One of my
crazy.
favorite endings to any show, to be honest with you. I think it's incredible.
I wouldn't really disagree. Let's be honest, a lot of TV, their finales do not stick the landing.
Yep.
No.
I agree. All right, Lance, do we got it? Do we got anything else?
I'm
I
trying to think, did
think
we miss anything?
I think that's it. I think we covered pretty much all the bases for these 3 episodes. I just knowing what to expect, but being able to pick up on some things we may have forgotten. That's what I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to with season 2, the same way we did with season 1. So I hope everybody sticks with us for this ride. Enjoy the slight bloopers that may have been in this video. uh, we will be back next Saturday, same time, same channel. If you're not subscribed, like, share, and subscribe. These guys will be pinned in the description box down below. And remember, David Cornsword is Superman now. So there's that. Yeah.
I'm Superman. Bitch.